Hi, so today I wanted to deconstruct one of my leads from my latest EP on kinematic records a little bit, because I was pretty happy with how it came out, and its construction is kind of interesting. It has a lot of different components, so I think someone out there might benefit from some of these techniques. So I'll play it as it's on the album by itself soloed for a bit, and then in context for a bit, so you can see if it's worth your while before starting down the long road of figuring out how to make it, and then we'll go from there. All right. So as you can hear, it starts off kind of a little bit more subdued, gradually gets louder, and the pattern for the first bit stays the same, and you don't see it in this MIDI data here, but it starts jumping all over the place. And so the way that it does that is a combination of different things. So let's look at the MIDI pattern. So here's the initial MIDI pattern. And then that goes through this random device, which then goes through the scale device. So no matter what happens, no matter what MIDI data I'm sending, it's not going to be out of Phrygian D. So, and the random, as you see right here at the beginning, it's not on at all. So the randomizer isn't doing anything. So the pattern stays the same while it gets introduced, because you see here with the automation from the utility, this lead kind of sneaks in over time, and so as it's sneaking in, I'm not having it jump around. It's going to be the same pattern. But then once it gets to a certain point, the randomization starts kicking in, and this is where you can have a lot of really fun results, because it's random, but it's not going to sound like crap because it's still going to be in scale. So here, I'll give you an example. I'm just going to run this loop here without any randomization. All right, let's put it on full random. And let's take the scale device off and put the random on. So you can use this as a way to kind of spice up your leads that are already written and just kind of give them a little variation. Now, what I did with mine is I created an additional MIDI track, and then routed this track to this MIDI track. Make sure this is armed, and let's create some new automation here. So let's just have this automation like that, so it gets pretty random pretty quick for that loop. Re-enable that automation, and let's hit record. I think we have to have this solo too though. Alright, we should be able to. Right, so all of that MIDI data was then recorded. And so if you're kind of stuck on inspiration, you can just use this random device as a little seed. So we can now take this and even this off and copy this in. And so now this is like creating new little riffs here for us and all over the place. And now you can edit this pattern. So let's see. Maybe I just don't want. I want like a longer note here. And we can do that same thing here. Let's do like a long one here. There's my loop. And that could be like your new loop. And then so I just recorded like maybe 3 or 4 different takes of the random device, like giving it, like going through its whole thing. And I picked the best one. And that was the one that I ended up using. And so that's just the MIDI aspect of it. There's also, of course, the patch and the synthesizer. So I used Serum for this. Turn this stuff back on. I'll go back to the earlier. So let's look at the Serum patch. It's just 2 oscillators going into a comb filter. So let's just listen to A. This is this AC water bubble one. So we've got some some modulation coming from the different LFOs. Like LFO2 is doing the bend and the wavetable position. Let's see. Can't remember what's doing the panning. I think it might be the chaos. Yeah, randomizers and stuff. So I have some randomizers doing, and then LFOs moving that. And let's listen to B. This is harmonic morph one, and this one isn't getting bent. Just a little bit. It's not like this bend isn't moving. And there's no effects or anything. They're there, but they're not on. And so after that, it's going through a convolution reverb, but the reverb isn't on until the end, to kind of just give it some tail. There, this filter is doing a little bit, not really all that much though. Let's see. There's a lot of automation here though. Right when let's show this in another lane. When the randomizer gets going, let's ignore that because I just put that in from this example. When the randomizer gets going, I also started automating the comb filter a lot more as well. So that's how you hear these, like where it was a static pattern for a while, it goes to is a combination of the MIDI notes being in different places from the randomizer and these filter cutoff modulations. And then there's a ping pong filter, of course, or ping pong delay, getting more prominent at the end, give it more tail, and then just chop off the bottom of it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'll just play that lead out for a little bit. Thanks for your time. Have a good day.